So basically, the science of reading, to me, when watching the video and reading the notes, was that it's the ability of students to read that scientists and educators had debate upon for years, such as the video said, for 50 years, and that it's the questions of how do I read, what do we learn, and how that should be taught, such as the video had stated, as cognitive abilities to read and the skills that students need to read, such as phonics, spelling, pronunciation, is one of those key abilities. And that the second question asks, how does the brain learn to read? And that's the ability to produce your language, such as the English language, comprehension on the words and sentences that students and young kids need to know. And that a child entering school is already going to know such words and vocabulary, but they're going to need ability, I keep saying that, but the proficiency to learn, as the kids in North Carolina, and especially in the United States, have a poor ability to read on a proficient level, or at least read above their level. And that currently in North Carolina, it's getting really low, around 66 to 50% of students reading proficiently. And within the United States, it's around like 34%, as the assignment earlier really states that knowledge and skill that students are lacking now. And that balanced literacy is basically the term to incorporate a good amount of curriculum materials and decoding for students on a normal level, and not to combine a whole bunch of literacy abilities such as phonics, vocabulary, all in one setting towards the student, as they're going to know that, and that they're going to need heavy emphasis, such as the video, heavy emphasizing the language to learn the written code of, such as reading phonics, or pronouncing, or even test taking of reading. And that the other thing is, it's really cold, is the strengths and weaknesses of teacher preparation in regards of literacy. Is one of the main weaknesses, according to my notes, is teachers now in more experience do not know English language themselves pertainly, and that they don't know how to teach their students that are struggling with disabilities, or just struggling overall, how to read and effectively read. And that the teachers, for strength, is they want to be able to teach their students effectively and have their students read on a proficient level and not be left behind, such as the act of No Child Left Behind Act that helps students with disabilities, the Disability Act, to be on the same boat with one another and not be struggling per se. And that the last question is dyslexia, and that dyslexia is basically the disability of mixing up your words and not being able to read proficiently as fast as others, as comprehension and vocabulary and all these other key details in reading are much harder. It takes more energy for a child that has dyslexia. And that's to help overcome this, is have teachers aid students with more one-on-one time and the ability to have them with technology such as text-to-speech with them, And my conclusion for this is that for literacy is that this is a good thing for education, that literacy in reading is valued and needed for today's generation, as we are slowly creeping very low with the ability and proficiencies to read. With my research, as the United States is struggling to keep up to be in that top 10 rating and ranking students needing to read.